Support for the show comes from Amazon Prime. You might think of Prime as only a way to get fast, free delivery, or maybe as the place to stream movies, shows, and sports. But it's actually way more than that. Maybe you've got a passion or a hobby. Prime can help you get the most out of it. Whether you're streaming documentaries on marine animals, ordering action figure stands with free one-day delivery, or finding the perfect playlist to impress that special someone, Prime makes it easier and faster to do what you love. Whatever you're into, it's on Prime. Visit Amazon.com/Prime to get more out of whatever you're into. JW, how do we unpack this fortnight?
Oh man! Bear in mind, I still my pulse is still quickened by. We're like an hour away from that final, which was just a spellbinding tennis match. Where to begin? I was struck. Very first day of the tournament, 2 weeks ago, we honored and gave great tribute to Rafa Nadal. Yeah, it was for the 14 titles and for just sort of the 6 statistics he put together here. It was also what? It was for who he was. Persistent and professional and pugnacious and physical and words that don't start with P. It was really about what Rafa represented. And here we are 2 weeks later, same court, same time. And what do we get? Another Spaniard that really encapsulates us. We sort of started with a tip of the cap to Rafa and, Coco Gauff and her virtues we can get in as well. She overlaps with a lot of that. But to have another Spaniard win this title, second year in a row for Carlos in that fashion, I mean, we could do a whole hour on that match and still have topics left unsaid. But that's sort of the overarching theme. And I also think, you just take a step back. And I'd say it hasn't been the greatest year so far for tennis. We've had players that are injured. We sort of had this story of the number one player who was serving this 90-day ban tied to a doping controversy. And then you came here and everything's all right again. And I'm thinking about, the conflict alert is that I worked for TNT here, but I'm just thinking of those guys. You pay a lot of money, you come into tennis, you broadcast this event, and what do you get? 1 versus 2 in the women, 1 versus 2 in the men, Novak making it till the end, the one interloper is a French player, and then one of the greatest tennis matches ever played. I feel like saying to TNT, guys, walk away. It's only going downhill from here. Or else you say to them, yeah, that's about right. Yeah, they always, that's about pretty standard event. That's about how they go. But yeah, if you're a first-time television network and you got this weekend, you're very happy. But yeah, it was a great event. And, honestly, not all events are. I mean, there are 4 of these every year and there are a lot of permutations. This was just extraordinary. And that last shot of the tournament that Carlos hit, I'm just, I still have pit stains from an hour ago from watching 5.5 hours of that, and I didn't have to hit a ball. That was just that wasn't just like a great tennis match, and that even wasn't just a great sporting event. That was just great theater. I mean, that was just absolutely spellbinding. And tennis may have its flaws, but I would hold that match up as find me another sport that can replicate that and get back to me.
No, you can't. Do you know what this was for TNT? Do you remember? You guys might not get this because your mind's gonna go to other places, but there's only one answer. The best feeling on earth when you're a kid. Do you guys know what that is?
No, tell us.
You know what this was for TNT, like the adult version? This was the equivalent of those doors sliding open, the air hitting your face, the smell of walking into a Toys R Us when you're 7 years old. You remember that? And they made you go the long way around, and then you had to and your parents would be like, if you did this, you get to go Toys R Us, and you would run in and just go, and just freak out. That's whatever that feeling has to be what's going on at TNT after this tournament. But listen, tennis is showing out. How in the same tournament can you say goodbye to a 14-time Roland Garros champion and a formal hello to someone 361 in the world who is playing in a match at a stage of the tournament of which you played in that many times with Boisson? And how do you make real a lot of the virtues that Rafa has and that we said goodbye to are fully represented by Coco, by Carlos, by Jannik Sinner having to stand up there after that disappointment. And I'll tell you, you can hide the emotion as long as you don't have to say anything or look at anyone you care about. right? And for him to stand up there and give that speech, and for Coco to handle everything with grace and with a laugh sometimes when she's probably pissed about stuff, and rightfully so. Listen, it's just I'm just proud of our sport. I'm proud of the people. I'm proud of the way it presents. I'm proud that I can say it's the hardest sport in the world. You can't watch what we watched over the last 2 weeks. You can't skip steps. Just because you're the number 1 draft pick doesn't mean you get voted into the All-Star team. If you're Fonseca, you still have to earn your stripes and go through the Jack Drapers and do all of the things. I don't know, JW, like you've covered a lot of slams, and my view is biased on a lot of them, because if I lost early in a slam, I pretty much pretended like it didn't exist for the next, 10 or 12 or 14 days. How does this stack up with French Opens that you've covered before?
Recency bias. I'll see you and I'll raise you. I grant you, I'm an hour removed from the greatest match I've seen, at least in the last 15 years or so. But this was just first ball to last ball, an extraordinary tournament. There were teenagers. There was a 38-year-old man who got to the semifinals and then kissed the court. There was drama. There was a local player. There was flair. Even a junior with a one-handed backhand won the girls' title. I mean, it just really showed off the virtues of tennis. The greatest controversy was a guy kicking a ball that happened to brush a linesman. I mean, there was no sort of moral ambiguity. There was no great controversy. The weather cooperated. There was a new TV partner that did things different. I mean, this really was just, from my vantage point, an ideal tennis tournament. And it really, it sort of restores faith in the sport. I think the best of tennis really came to the fore. I just, that last, Rafa on the first day and those last 20 minutes on the very same court at the very same time of day by the 1 and 2 players were nice bookends, but there was a lot of virtue in between. I think we got a lot of momentum going into Wimbledon. It was just a great tournament. And you and I are unflagging fans, and we'll always find stories. But if you're sort of the casual tennis fan, I feel like there's a suction, this vortex that's bringing you back to the sport right now.
Yeah, I can always tell when like massive moments happen in tennis, because I get a flood of texts over the course of hours from people that kind of watch tennis but are like sports fans, and then they get drawn in. And I got a lot of them with Coco's match and the drama of the day and the wind and the histrionics between the two players and the whole thing. And then we get to Alcaraz and Sinner, and that just absolute presentation of athleticism and mental toughness on all sides. And I just don't know where we go from here. And it's so strange, because Wimbledon, the old traditional one, I mean, there's so many great storylines going into this tournament, and it just feels so excited. It feels like tennis is on this wave of popularity and respect, and but doing it the right way with, Rafa leaving and Coco not missing a beat. Support for the show comes from Amazon Prime. Prime is more than just fast, free delivery. It's your go-to for streaming music, movies, and sports. Plus, it's also a great way to connect with the things you love. Into skiing? Stream ski films on Prime Video even when the slopes are bare. Love fishing? You can get new gear delivered fast and be back by the water in no time. Planning your next big trip? Prime helps you get everything you need faster than you can write your out-of-office email. Whatever you're into, it's on Prime. Visit Amazon.com/Prime to get more out of whatever you're into.